more for you, you feel it. You know it. This is your life, and it's time to go from contender to champion. This is The Show with John Madsen.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, John Madsen. This is The Show. Excited to be here with all of you. If you're new, welcome. If you've listened to a lot of shows, thank you for your support. I appreciate you. If any one of these episodes hit you in a way that you think is valuable, please leave us a review. Go to iTunes, and apparently they like that to get the show noticed. And thank all of you who have done that. Also, I love hearing from you guys on Instagram. That's probably where I'm most active, John Madsen Official. So hit me up there, take a screenshot, let me know you're listening. And in addition to that, make sure you're on the email list. We're going to do some good work. I know I've said that for the last 50 episodes, but johnmadsen.com, VIP list, have some exciting announcements coming down the pipeline, rebrand, something else launching. Want you guys to know about it. Today, we're going to hit motivation from a different angle because it's important. And I'm going to give you just a quick show on things that you can do to... I hate the word hack, and I almost said it. Hack your own motivation so that you can succeed. I don't like that word. However, I think in this case, it's valid because last episode, if you haven't listened to it, we talked about the 4 stages of mastery, and the first one being unconscious incompetence, meaning most of what's holding you back lies in the place of you don't know what you don't know. And what I'm about to talk to you today might be in one of those hidden spaces, in a blind spot, as I would call it. And just simply knowing this and understanding it and understanding how humans operate and how you operate is going to be super helpful. So I want you to imagine yourself possibly, but imagine a guy who is a business guy or just a busy executive, someone who values work and achievement and success. Probably all of you listening. Imagine that this person does not have A-level fitness, maybe C, right? Maybe average. And this person wants to consciously look and feel incredible. Not just okay, but like wants to really, really look incredible. Yet every single day he goes, and let's just say that he's organized and he puts in his workouts on his schedule. So he has some intentionality there. And he puts that workout in his schedule for the next day. And he's like, tomorrow at 6 a.m., I'm going to work out. Or let's say that he's like, tomorrow at 3 p.m., I'm going to work out. Or tomorrow at 6 p.m., I'm going to work out. If he has it set for 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., the same person has an alarm clock that goes off and he hits snooze. If it's in the middle of the day, he looks at his calendar and he's like, damn, I got to work out in an hour. And then all of a sudden an email comes through or a fire happens at work and he's trying to put out the fire. Next thing he knows, he's halfway into his scheduled time to work out. And then he's like, fuck it. Can't work out today. Put it off tomorrow. Or same thing at the end of the day. It's been a long day. An hour overtime at work, meaning he was supposed to get home at 4 and shut it down, but he had a bunch of other stuff to do. So it's 5. He promised himself that he's going to work out at the end of the day. And it's like, dude, I'm exhausted, man. I'm tired. I just want to go home, be with the kids, be with the wife. I don't want to miss anything. I'm just going to go home. You see these scenarios, right? Maybe, if you're a female listening and you have kids, it's like you have these intentions, right? You have this on the schedule. Yet something always comes up and that priority is shifted from the thing you consciously think you want, right? The goal, to something that takes precedence in that moment. You know how that feels. I know how that feels at certain times, right? I know how that feels at certain times. So what I want you to think about is, why does that happen when you have the motivation to do the thing? Meaning you want the goal, but you can't ever achieve it because this scenario keeps showing up for you. Why? And that's where I want to kind of uncover this blind spot and really help you achieve some of the things that you probably haven't achieved yet. This is super powerful. This is legit ways that you can kind of trick the system. The issue here is that on all the previous episodes of this show, I probably have hit this in a way that was like, look, you just don't want it bad enough. On some level, that is the end all be all. If it was that important to you, those fires wouldn't exist. That alarm clock wouldn't exist. The end of the day would be like, fuck, I'm doing it no matter what, because my desire is so deep that I have to do it. I talk about Dwayne Johnson talking about working out at 2 a.m. sometimes. He's on set, he has long days, but it's like, by God, he's going to get it in no matter what. That ultimately comes down to a person playing with ultimate desire, where you're playing with willpower or determination or discipline, right? A person's intrinsic motivation, desire, love for the thing is always going to win. Think about this in terms of business. If you love the thing, you're going to beat the shit out of people who are just doing it for a job. If I love fitness, if I love entrepreneurship, if I love what I'm doing and I'm in love with it, then I'm going to put all the hours in. I'm going to do whatever the fuck it takes, because it's not really work. You can't fuck with me on that. And the same thing is if you're a computer programmer, right? If you love it and you're competing against a person who's just doing it, even if they're pretty good at it, but they don't love it, like, you're going to dominate them. If you love sales, love it, and you just like get excited as fuck to like close a deal, and you're competing against guys who is just like, man, I got to do this job. I like the money. I like it, but I'd rather be doing other things. You're going to dominate that person. You're going to dominate them. I see this in sports all the time. I've talked about it all the time. The people who are great fucking love it. So at the root of all of this is going to be what I just said. But I'm going to help you uncover I guess this is the hard part, right? Not everybody's going to love the strength game that I love it. And I would even say, like, I don't even love it like a lot of people love it. I love being strong, but there's a limit. Like, I actually love business equally as much. And so that's where it's like, I'm not willing to do some of the things. Like, so you got some people who have garage gyms who just beat the shit out of themselves. They don't care if they have bulging discs or this or that. Like, strength is the thing. And it's so much the thing that they don't care about anything else. And so understand that there's different levels to this shit. But I want to talk to the person who's like, look, John, I'm not in the fitness industry, right? I know that I should get in shape. I know that I should look a certain way. I can conceptually, consciously kind of understand what it might feel like to go on vacation and not have that like feeling of not wanting to take my shirt off, but to be proud as fuck about what I accomplished. Like, I understand all that. In fact, my doctor says that I have high blood pressure and I need to do this. Like, I understand and I want to do it. It is a goal, but why? Like, can you help me with this motivation to actually see the whole thing through? Right? Because that's the magic. That's the magic. If you love strength, like my coaches in my program, I've coached some of them since they were in 8th grade. They fucking loved it since they were in 8th grade. They're always going to have a six pack. They're always going to have a vein popping out of their abs. They're always going to be jacked. They're always going to be savage. When I hire people who love it, because then I don't need to motivate them. They already love it. And so my point is when you you're like, oh man, I know I want to get in shape, but I don't love it like that. Like, do I have a chance? And the answer is yes, but you have to really understand motivation then, right? At the deepest level, that's going to be the easiest person to win. At the very deepest level, show me a person who loves it and can fall in love with it and fall in love with the process and fall in love with the idea that you're a fucking savage, to fall in love with the idea that no matter how many fancy $3,000 suits you buy, no matter how much Lululemon you buy, no matter how much shit you buy, car you drive, there's nothing better than wearing your own body and feeling what it feels like, right? That person who understands and can tie that in and can start to love it, that's the answer. That's the true answer, okay? But what about you? What about you specifically? If you're sitting there with a C-level body, you know you want to get to A+, you have this goal, yet there's this thing where like you kind of get halfway there and then you always kind of fall back. You always kind of get halfway there. You always kind of fall back. You get the result a little bit. You fall back a little bit and you never, ever, ever get there. Like that's who I'm talking to in this episode for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Here's how I would solve this problem if I was working with you one-on-one. In fact, I had this conversation with one of my clients the other day, and this conversation is everything, right? This conversation is everything. One of the things that I do as a coach is I would ask you ultimately, what's the goal? So I'm just going to take you through the process, right? I want to know what the goal is. I also want to know why the goal's a goal. And I might ask that question a couple times. A long time ago, I did an episode, said, look, I would ask the question if I was sitting in, face to face with you. I'd be like, why do you want that? Why is that important? Why is that important? Until we got to the real thing, right? Because if you peel back the layers, ultimately you get to the thing that's going to drive you. But let's just say, we have the what you want, we have the why. Now I would say, and this is where I haven't hit this before, and that's why this episode is going to be so powerful. What are you going to do when you hit the goal? What are you going to do? What do you mean? How are you going to reward yourself when you hit this goal? You guys have to understand that as human beings, we are motivated by pain or pleasure, by punishment or reward. You know this as parents. When you're talking to your child, if you don't do that, then I'm going to take this away. Punishment. If you do this, then I'm going to give you candy, reward, right? We've done it. If you're a parent, you've done this. So from the moment you're 2 years old, you're being molded into, hey, if you don't do this, then this. If you do this, then this. And then as an adult, you start to understand, if you're anything like me, you have conversations with yourself more so than you have conversations with other people. So who actually are you talking to? It's almost like you have two selves. You have the you, and then you have the you that is talking back to you or that you're conversating with. That's pretty weird, right? I first heard this concept in The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I was like, yeah, man, like I have the me and then I have the me. Right? And I want to break this down even further into a little bit more of an understanding is you have this consciousness, right? The things that you're aware of. And then you have this subconscious mind, the things that maybe kind of run underneath the surface that you're not really thinking about, that really is the thing that's going to ultimately take you to the goal or not. Meaning consciously, you can write the goal down. I want to lose 30 pounds by this date. Unconsciously though, that little motherfucker in there is like Sybil, and it has multiple personalities. It's got a map that's going to either take you to it, hopefully has a map that's going to take you to the goal and do the work and steer that ship, has a steering wheel, or it's got a really fucked up map. The people who win, they have rapport consciously and unconsciously. They set a goal, their unconscious mind takes them there, right? Lines everything up for them. People who don't, there's no rapport there. They set a goal and their unconscious self says, you're full of shit, man. You said you were going to lose this 20 pounds 10 years ago. And even if I did take you there, what the fuck for? Like, why am I doing it? What am I going to get? right? And so it's very, very, very important for you to understand. And this is what I understand with clients in my work that I do with them, is it all is going to come down to motivation, which is ultimately a feeling, right? You have a bunch of gurus out there, and I've done a whole episode on this. It says motivation is bullshit, and it's the things you do when you don't feel like it that matter the most. I get that. There is a certain component of like, sometimes I don't feel like working out. I got to do it anyways. However, what is underneath that is so much desire for the thing. It precedes that moment and takes me to where I need to be to ultimately do the action to get the result. You see that I guess the word would be like I'm in touch with the ultimate goal in a sense, like what I value most. Therefore, even in a moment of not feeling like I want to do a certain thing, it's overridden, right? It's like the system overrides that temporary feeling with my understanding of what I really want. And so where people get this word motivation wrong, and I know they get it wrong because in my email sequence, if you're on it, depending on which marketing material you saw first, one of the last emails is, hey, I just want to know what you're struggling with most. Write me back. And everyone says, I'm struggling with motivation. And they don't understand what they're saying, right? It's a feeling, because if I asked you to shut your eyes right now, don't do it if you're driving. Do not do it if you're driving. If you're at the gym, if you're on a walk, sit down and just close your eyes and think about a time when you were completely and totally motivated. When you were completely motivated to do the thing. And when you have that thing, I want you to like amplify that feeling, make it color, make that image colorful, like bring it close to you. Feel what it feels like. When you do that, you remember the feeling of motivation. It's like that feeling is like, I can do anything, right? I can do whatever it takes. I'm fucking motivated. When you don't have that feeling and it's like, I'm not motivated to do shit. I'd rather just sit here on the couch. Like I have no, like, why do the thing? Why does it matter? Right? Like if you're always operating in that feeling, the person who can muster up this other feeling, and it is a choice, by the way, they're always going to win. And so that's my point. Like if you're following the person who knows how to motivate themselves, ultimately, if they're in the right lane, like doing the stuff that they love to do, or they just understand motivation so well, they're always going to win, because that feeling is going to lead to the action, which is going to lead to the habit, which is ultimately going to lead to the reward, the outcome. Where the other person's feeling, this negative feeling, is always going to lead to a negative action, which is always going to lead to negative habits, always getting busy at the wrong times to miss the workout, always, having something come up, always putting fitness down a couple levels to do the wrong habits over time to get the wrong outcome, right? So understand that a motivated feeling, if you use it to your advantage, is like rocket fuel. How do you bring that into your everyday life? Well, step number 1, do what you love. Fall in love with it, right? Fall in love with it. Step number 2, if you needed a hack, the word that I hate, listen to what I'm about to say. So going back to the client conversation, what's the goal? Why is that important, right? Ask yourself, like, why is that important? Okay, when you hit it, what are you going to do? Start understanding how to motivate yourself toward something, to get excited about something. And I'm even going to show you how to even do something that would be even more powerful, right? So if I'm talking with you or a client and I ask that question, what are you going to do? Are you going to take a vacation when you hit it? One other part that I left off, by when. So when you have this goal, it's by when are you going to do it? And then it's what are you going to do when you hit it? When you find that out, whether it's a vacation you're going to take, maybe it's buying a new wardrobe, maybe it's buying a new car. It's all relative, right? It's all relative to your lifestyle. Maybe it's buying a new pair of shoes, right? Maybe you like Jordans and you're like, I'm going to hit this, and I love those Jordan 11s and they're $400 on StockX. Like when I hit this goal, I'm going to buy those. right? Maybe that's too little of a goal for you, right? If you have this goal to get, to look like a fucking Greek god, maybe that's too little of a goal. Like, hey, I'm going to do this, and then I'm taking a vacation to Cabo, and I'm going to look incredible, right? I'm going to book that. As soon as I hit that goal, I'm going to book it for this date, and we're going to go. And if I don't, I'm not, right? Or I'm going to spend X amount of dollars in my favorite clothing store. I'm going to go on a shopping spree, and I'm going to get a whole new wardrobe. I'm going to get custom tailored suit. I'm going to get fitted because I got a new body, right? I'm going to get that new dress. I'm going to take my family to Disneyland, right? So you start motivating yourself towards, and then when you hit that goal, because you have to satisfy that subconscious mind, when you hit it, to gain rapport, you fucking reward yourself. That's what you do. Whatever you said you're going to do, that's what you do. When you have revenue goals, if you're a CEO or you leading a sales team, you come up with a goal. By when? What are you going to do when you hit that goal? When you start doing that, you gain massive rapport with yourself. You hit the goal, you're motivated by, certain things that you want to do or want to buy or want to have, and bam, you start creating this cycle of improvement over time because you keep kicking that can down the road because there is no finish line, right? We already established that. You're like, awesome, I hit this, I'm going to reward now. Okay, now what do I want? When I do this, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And so you're always like glimpsing into the future a little bit, but you're making it dependent on whether or not you do the thing. You want to be you want to do something that would really hold you to the goal. What if you're like, you had some kids that are 3 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, doesn't matter. Maybe they're 15 and you're like, family wants to go to Disneyland, or maybe they want to go to the Disney resort in Hawaii, or maybe it's a cruise, or maybe it's a fishing trip, whatever it is you like. And you say, I got to lose 40 pounds by then. What you should do is you should sit your family down, because the support system is very important. And you should look in your kids' eyes. And you should say, kids, we're going to go to Disneyland. We're going to go to Hawaii. We're going to go for 14 days. And when we do, I'm going to be 40 pounds lighter. My promise to you is that by this date, I hit this goal. And then we're booking the flights. We're booking the baddest ass hotel room, or depending on where you are, right? And I'm going to take you guys there, and you're going to see their little faces light up, and you're going to see the sparkle in their eyes, and you're going to look at your wife and she's going to smile at you. And you're going to say, kids, wife, if I don't hit this goal, I'm going to sit you back down in this room and I'm going to explain why I couldn't do it and why we can't go. I have to hit this goal. Now you've built in a punishment/reward. Now you got both. Now you got both. What the fuck are you going to do? Are you going to go back into that room and look at your kids and tell them why you couldn't fucking stop eating Oreos? Why you couldn't put the phone down or the email down to hit the fucking workout that you plan for yourself? That's what going all in looks like. See, the reason you end up mediocre is because you don't know how to reward yourself to hit certain things, and you don't know how to reverse it and punish yourself when you don't. And I'm not trying to tell you to be self-punishment wizards. I'm telling you, you got to go all in. And your support system is very important. So it's very, very powerful to then do something for yourself and your family all at the same time, where every single person wants you to win and roots for you. So that at night, when you're eating a different meal than your wife and kids, and they're going, Daddy, why are you not eating with us? You're like, remember that trip that I promised you? I got to eat this tonight. And I got to eat this for the next fucking 16 weeks. And when I do, I'm going to celebrate with you guys. But until then, I'm going to eat this. And then when all of a sudden you pull out a cookie, your 5-year-old goes, Dad, what about Disneyland? What about Disneyland? When you pop a beer open after a long day of work, or it's 2 bottles deep into wine, your wife looks at you and says, I can't believe you're going to do that to us. I'm telling you, that shit's powerful. That shit is powerful. You want to win? You learn to motivate yourself to do things. And when you do it, you reward the fuck out of yourself. Why do you think I bought the cars? Hit a goal. We have multiple stuff like this built in. We're going to do even better job. Me and my wife, revenue goals, profit goals, body goals, and you best believe we know exactly what we're going to do when we hit it. That's how we hack, quote unquote, hack the motivation shit. Built-in rewards. You want to pour gasoline on that? Bring other people into it and tell them what you're not going to do if you don't hit it. Super powerful. Where can you use that? Will you use that? Will you decide to go all in? Because that's big time right there. Making a decision, right? So my job as a coach, as a consultant, as somebody who helps business owners, as somebody who helps high-performing individuals who want to go to the next level, it's all right there. What are you going to do and by when? Why do you want it? What are you going to do when you get it? And then what's the plan of action? What are you going to do next? Right? What are you going to do next? And then what are you going to do next? When all that shit is built in, and you make it meaningful, you can do whatever it is you want to do. You'll reach goals faster than you've ever thought possible before. You'll win more than you've ever even thought about winning in every aspect. Think about what I just said on this episode. Think about ways that you can reward yourself in short bursts for you to sprint and then to bring people in that's going to help support that goal. Otherwise, you're going to sit around and you're going to go to the fucking gym 4 or 5 times a week. You're going to get on cardio machines. You're going to buy Pelotons. You're going to buy dumb shit. And you're just going to be in this perpetual cycle of lose 5 pounds, gain it back. And you're always going to wonder why John over there can achieve the shit that he achieves. And it seems easier. I know how to shortcut motivation. I know why I'm ultimately motivated. I know my intrinsic motivation, but I also know how to start pouring gasoline on that fire. You should too.
Thank you so much for joining us for another amazing episode of The Show with John Madsen. The greatest compliment that you could give us is liking, loving, and sharing this episode with all of your friends. So please go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review, and then share it online with everyone that you know. Make sure to tag John as well. He loves to hear from listeners of the show. The links for all of his socials and iTunes are in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to engage John for anything related to his coaching, consulting, or programs, please visit johnmadsen.com for everything you'd need to know on how to engage with John offline. And lastly, thank you for your time, your attention, and your consideration. This is The Show.